Okay, again, don't worry, your face won't be seen. I'm just recording my screen. Okay, so any video or will not be in the recording. All right. Again, example number 1. Okay, so this is about the distance between 2 points. Okay, or back in EMATS, length of a line. Example number 1. The vertices of a triangle are -2, 0 for A, B is 5, 0, and then C is 1, 4. Now find letter A, the length of AB, and then letter B, the area of triangle ABC. So let's begin with letter A. How do we find the length or the distance between A and B? So we have applied the formula. So square root of x squared minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Okay, so again, it is important, or it might help you if you designate values for each. For example, point A is my x sub 1s or and y sub 1. And then point B is my x sub 2 and then y sub 2. All right. Now my technique here is this. The second point is always my x sub 2, y sub 2. And then the first point is always my x sub 1, y sub 1 from here, right? Okay, so if you're, if you don't want to write labels like this, it's totally fine. Okay, just be careful when substituting the values on this formula. Okay, so let's begin with x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So that's 5 plus 2. All right, why is it 5 plus 2? Because this is 5 and this is -2. So therefore, this is 5 plus 2, right? All right, so that is 5 minus -2, which will give you 5 plus 2 squared. And then obviously on y sub 2 and y sub 1, they're both 0. So 0 minus 0 is, yeah, okay, so it's basically gone. So simplifying this, you'll get square root of 49, and answering this, you'll get 7 units. So the distance between A and B is equal to 7 units. All right, okay. So if you look closely, if you plot that or those points in the x and y coordinate, you will see that if you count the steps from point B to point A or A to B, you'll get 7 units. Okay, so basically that's the distance between those 2 points. All right, now let's go with letter B. Now, letter B, we need to find the area of the triangle ABC. Now, I highly suggest you make a quick um, sketch or illustration. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be accurate. It might help you to see how the triangle looks like. All right, like this. Sorry, try to plot the points. Okay, and then of course, create the shape on the x and y coordinate. Okay, so there's your triangle basically, right? Now, basically, to get the area of this triangle, it's base times height divided by 2. So my base here is the length of AB, or the distance between A and B, and then my height here is this. Okay, now you can draw an additional line to represent the height. Then I'll name this point D, right? So my base is AB, my height is CD. All right, so you can just count. You don't have to apply the formula every now and then. Okay, since AB is or was solved from letter A, we know that that is equal to 7 units, right? So if you count 7 units. Now for the height CD, of course, this has 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So from 0 to 4, that's equal to 4 units, right? So basically, your answer here is 14 units squared. Okay, so any question, class, for letter B? Okay, no question. Example number 1. Okay, so let's have another one. Okay, so for example number 2, so the question here is, now you have a triangle and its vertices are point A to -4, point B -4, 4, and then point C at 3, 3. Now calculate the length of AC and BC and show that the triangle is an isosceles triangle. Now before we answer this, let's define again, what's an isosceles triangle? It's a triangle with two equal sides, right? So that's the basic definition of an isosceles triangle. So with two equal sides. So if you have a triangle, that means that these two sides will be the same. If this is 5 cm, the other side is 5 cm. And then of course the third one is maybe, let's say, different. So 7 cm. Okay, the point there is that you need to have two equal sides. So that's an isosceles triangle. Now again, I highly suggest you to plot. But on this one, okay, I'm just plotting this so you guys can see it. This illustration is not required anymore on this question because you can basically answer this without having to draw the triangle. Okay, all right. Now, so what do we need to find? We need to find the length of AC and BC. So AC is this. So this and this. So point A is my x sub 1, y sub 1. Point C are my x sub 2 and y sub 2's. All right. Now, substituting them in this formula, you'll get 3 minus 2 squared plus 3 plus 4 squared, right? So simplifying this, you can use your calculator. Basically, you'll get 5 root 2 units, okay? Now, again, in A maths, we mostly express our answers in surd form, okay? Surd form. And then let's find for the distance between point B and C. So again, B are my sub 1's and then C are my sub 2's. So substituting them in the formula, so you'll get 3 plus 4. So this is 3 minus negative 4. It becomes 3 plus 4. And then for your y, it's the same. 3, it's 3 minus 4. So it's 3 minus 4 squared. So simplifying this, you'll get also 5 root 2 units. So therefore, um, if you have two equal sides, therefore you have an isosceles triangle. So again, so since AC is equal to BC, it is an isosceles triangle. Okay, any question, class, for example number 2? Okay, so that means that this are supposed to be equal, right? So they're equal. Okay, those two sides. Okay. All right, no question. Now let's go to example number 3. And after this, you'll do your classwork for this topic. Okay. Example number 3. 3 points have coordinates point A, 2, 5, point B, negative 1, 1, and then point C is at 2, 1. Now, we need to calculate the length of BC and of CA, and then the area of the triangle ABC. And then also, we need to calculate the length of AB and of CF, where F is on AB and CF is perpendicular to AB. Now, there's a lot of things going on in this question. Okay, so let's break down question per question. Okay, so we're given 3 points. Again, A, B, and C. So we need to find the length of BC and CA, and then the area of the triangle ABC. So let's do them first. So BC and CA can be solved by using the distance formula. Okay, so BC is again this one. So this is my x sub 1, y sub 1, and then this is my x sub 2, y sub 2, and then substitute them in this formula. Okay, so you'll have 2 plus 1, okay, because it's 2 minus negative 1, so it's basically 2 plus 1, and then 1 plus 1 squared. So simplifying this, you'll get 3 units for the distance of BC. And then for CA, again, this is my x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So put them here in the formula. So you'll have 2 minus 2 squared, and then 1 minus 5 squared. Okay, 1 minus 5 squared. This one. All right, so you'll get 4 units for the distance of CA or AC. All right. Now, what's the third question? We need to find the area of this triangle. Now, So I've made a sketch, quick sketch on the shape or on the coordinates of A, B, and C. So I can see it clearly from here that that my base is BC and then my height is AC, right? So everything that I need, it's already here. So therefore, the area of the triangle is equal to 6 units squared, right? Squared, its area. All right, so we're done with the first set of questions. Now, let's go to the second set of questions. Now, also, we need to calculate the length of AB and CF. Where is AB and CF? AB is here. It's basically the third side. Now, you can use Pythagoras theorem in solving this actually, because this is a right triangle, but you can still use the distance formula for this, okay? All right, now for this one, I've used the distance formula, but again, you can use the Pythagoras theorem or Pythagoras theorem because it's a right triangle. You will still get 5 units as your answer. They're basically the same, okay? So the length of AB is equal to 5 units, all right? Okay, so basically, again, it came from this 2 points. So A is my sub 1s, and then B is are my sub 2s, sub 2, Y sub 2, and then you'll get 5 units. And then for the um, length of CF, you cannot use the distance formula here, okay? It's because there's no point F right away. Now, it says here that point F is on AB. Now, class, listen. If you see this phrase or part of a question, F is on AB, that means that point F is lying on line AB. So let's say this is line AB, right? Now, so point F is along this line. Okay, it's somewhere along this line. We don't know yet because it will define it. It will define where the point is. Now, so point F is along this line, and then locating that, it says here that CF is perpendicular to AB. Okay, again, CF is perpendicular, so it creates line CF, which is perpendicular to AB. Now, let's define what is perpendicular again. Perpendicular lines creates a 90-degree angle to each other, right? So we can say that this line here is perpendicular to this because there's a 90-degree angle here. So therefore, line AB, if perpendicular with CF, creates a 90-degree angle here. Okay, so there you go. So this is where point F is. Okay, the question is, how do we find the length of this line? This is basically the height of the triangle. If we twist this triangle here, it will become like this, something like this, right? So this is point C, point A, B, and then this is point F. Okay, so this is basically the height of this triangle. Okay, so how do we find for CF? Now, again, we are still on the same triangle. That means that the area of the triangle ABC will still be 6 units squared. Now, if this is now your triangle, so AB will now be your base, and then CF it will be your height. Okay, again, it will look like this. Okay, so AB will now be your base, and then CF is your height. So therefore, substituting them, so AB is equal to 5 units, okay, from here, and then CF is what we're looking for, right? And then of course over 2. Now, how do we solve for CF? So CF is basically solving for x. Okay, so 6 times 2, you'll get 12, and then you get rid of 5 by dividing both sides by 5. Therefore, CF is equal to 2.4 units. So that's the length of line CF. Okay, any question, class, on this one? Okay, now basically number 1 is asking us to find the perimeter and area of the rectangle ABCD, where A is point A is 4, 5, point B is 4, negative 2, C is negative 3, negative 2, and point D is at negative 3, 5. So again, there are two ways in answering this question. You can either plot the points and just count how many units there are for each length and breadth, or you can just simply solve um, the two sides. Okay, so AD of course is equal to BC, and then AB is equal to DC, right? All right, now when you solve this, you'll notice something. It's not a rectangle, it's a square, right? Okay, because you'll get 7 units for AB, and then also 7 units for AD. But let me double check, okay? Wait. Okay, okay, so AB is correct. Okay, so negative 3 minus 4 and 5 minus 5. All right, 7 units. Okay, so um, our answer for number 1 is basically 28 units squared. Sorry, 28 units for the perimeter. Okay, wait. And then for the area, it's 49 units squared. All right, so that's for number 1. Now for number 4, for number 4, it says here we need to find the lengths of the sides of this triangle with vertices A, B, and C. So point A is at 4, negative 4, 0. Point B is at 3, 4, and point C is at 4, 1. Show that the triangle ABC is isosceles. So what I did here, I did find the length of each side, AB, BC, and CA or AC. Okay, so upon solving them, I've noticed that AB and AC are equal. So therefore, if you have two sides that are equal, that means that this is an isosceles triangle. So that's how you do it. Okay. So that's number 4. Okay. So yeah, that's number 4. Now let's go to number 6. Okay, I think you guys are not yet finished with number 6. But number 6 has a similar question back in EMATs, right? Let's have this. Number 6. If the point 4P is equidistant from points A for 1 and then point B is at negative 1, 2, we need to find the value of P. So I designated a letter for this point. So I call this point C. All right, you can use any letter. If you want, you can use point X. Any letter in the alphabet is fine, except for point A and point B, of course. All right, so this is my point C. So it says here that equidistant. So basically, they're the same. They're equal. Okay, that's why you have equal here. All right. So the length of AC is equal to the length of BC. So applying the distance formula, okay, let me zoom this. Okay, so I'll have here the distance of AC is 4 minus 4. So 4 minus 4. And then this is my y sub 2, this is my y sub 1. So I got t minus 1 squared. All right. Now for the length of BC, so this is again my x sub 2, my x sub 1. All right, so it's 4 plus 1 because it's 4 plus 1 or minus 1. So it's 4 plus 1. And then t minus 2 squared, of course. All right, so this is basically the equation that you want to have in order for you to solve for the value of t. Any question? Okay, none, right? So the blue marker here, which is square, is what you need to do next. So you need to square both sides for you to cancel the root or the surds here. And then, of course, 4 minus 4 is 0, so this is gone. And then bring down t minus 1 squared. So expanding this, you'll get t squared minus 2t plus 1, all right? And then on the right side, so 4 plus 1 squared is 25, right? And then t minus 2 squared is t squared minus 4t plus 4, okay? So from here, you basically need to simplify and solve for the value of t. Now, t squared is cancelled off because, again, it will be equal to 0, right? Now, solving for t, I substituted all, no, I transposed this over here. That's why it becomes this. So solving for t, you'll have t equals 15. Okay, so any question, class, for number 6? Okay, none? No question, class, for number 6? All right, now, before we proceed to the next one, I just want to remind you guys that you can answer a few more questions, okay? Now, I cannot ask you to do all questions because, of course, it will take too much of our time. So I'm just giving you guys some questions that has something to do with your upcoming test or exam, okay? Okay. And then if you want, you can answer them. And then if you want me to check, you can send it in my WhatsApp, okay? You can do some extra work during your free time. All right, now that's it for the length of a line or the distance between 2 points. So please don't forget that formula. All right, now the second topic is different. This is new for us, okay? So this is about midpoint of the line joining 2 points. So basically, this is the midpoint formula, okay? From the definition of midpoint, middle point, okay? Middle point. So again, if you have a line, if you say that something is the midpoint of this line, it's dead center of that line. For example, line AB here. So M is the midpoint. So that means that this point here will divide this line exactly in two halves, right? So this is, let's say, if this is 3, this is also 3. But you get the definition of a midpoint, right? Middle point, all right? Okay, now, how do we solve for this? Now, if we're given a line, or maybe 2 points, let's say point A and point B, how do we determine the location of the midpoint? Okay, because we're talking about coordinates here, right? If you're given point A and point B, how do you determine the location of the midpoint? Now, maybe in some instances, you can measure them or maybe count the units. But in most times, you need to apply the formula for getting the midpoint. Okay, so what's the formula basically? So the formula is fairly simple. Okay, so to get the midpoint of x and y, you just need to add each of the two x sub 1, y sub 1s, x sub 2, and y sub 2, and then divide them by 2. So this is basically your x, and this is basically your y. All right, so this is for your x, and then this is for the y coordinate. Basically, this is the formula. All right, now let's apply this formula in some examples. This is my last example for today, by the way. All right. Now, example number 4, M is the midpoint of the line joining points A and B. So you have a line A and B. So it says there that point M is the midpoint, right? Now, the question here is, for letter A, um, we need to find the coordinates of M. So what's the coordinate? What is X and Y for point M? We are given point A is -1 and 2, point B is 3 and -4. So how do we determine the midpoint? Again, using the formula, okay, sorry, because I didn't write the formula in the beginning, okay? I'll just write the formula on top of this question. Okay, the formula here is this, okay? So to find the midpoint, again, the formula is very simple, okay? So again, the first one is for X, the second one is for Y, right? So you have X of 1 plus X of 2 divided by 2. And the same goes with Y. So Y sub 1 plus Y sub 2 divided by 2. All right, and that's it. Okay, so let's apply this coordinates in this formula. Okay, all right. Now, what is X sub 1, X sub 2? So it's -1 and +3. So it's -1 plus 3 and then divided by 2. And for your Y coordinate or the Y coordinate of the midpoint, it is 2 plus -4 or simply 2 minus 4 and then divided by 2. Why do you think we are dividing them by 2? It's because it's the midpoint. It's the middle. That means it will divide the line in half. That's why it's 2. So therefore, simplifying this, your midpoint, your x coordinate for your midpoint is 1. And then simplifying this, your y coordinate is -1. So yeah, so for letter A, the coordinate of point M is at 1, -1. Okay, so again, if you have a line AB, so the midpoint is M and its location is 1, -1. All right. Any question, class, for letter A? All right, none? All right, now let's go to letter B. Letter B is a bit more complicated than letter A. Now, let me explain letter B. Now, letter B, you still have line AB. Okay, you have line AB. And then you have point M in the middle, in the mid as your midpoint. Now, the question here is, point M is given. Point M is at 2, -1. And then point B is at 3, 2. The question here, class, is this. What are the x and y coordinates of point A? Or basically, what's the coordinates of point A? So this is what we need to find. Okay, so this is totally different. Now, since we know the midpoint is at 2, -1, we will use that in our answer, okay, in solving this question. Okay, so let's do that. So again, the midpoint is 2, -1, or the coordinates of the midpoint is at 2, -1. So using the formula, so point A is x and y, all right? Point A is x and y because we are trying to look for point A here. Now, applying this, maybe let me just write point A so you guys can see it. Okay, so applying the formula, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 divided by 2, and then y sub 2 plus y sub 1 plus y sub 2 divided by 2. So using that here, this is the midpoint, yeah? So this one is the x coordinate. So this is x sub 1, and then this is x sub 2. That's why this is x plus 3 divided by 2. And then for my y coordinate, it's, of course, this is y sub 1, and then this is y sub 2. Okay, so that's why this is y plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, so that's how I got this. Now, in solving for the x and y, you need to separate them. So -2 goes with x plus 3 over 2. And then -1 goes with y plus 2 over 2 because this is your y coordinate. And then it's here. Okay, so solving for the x coordinate, okay, so 2 is equal to x plus 3 over 2. So therefore, x is equal to 1. All right, and then solving for your y coordinate, is y is equal to -4. So therefore, the coordinates of point A is at 1, -4. Okay, any question, class, for letter B?